What's up, guys? I'm back. I'm back here in video today. Okay, folks. So I'm back here in video today, obviously. So right now, I'm gonna be doing an album review for some metal music, and well, I know, folks. Okay, so the band I'm gonna be reviewing today is good old Cannibal Corpse, and the album I'm gonna be reviewing is The Bleeding and stuff, and why no, folks. Okay, so overall, like obviously, so I got Cannibal Corpse I'm gonna be reviewing today, and I don't really feel like I have to talk much about the background of the band. I don't like, in my opinion, or at least from what I feel like, they're they're the most popular death metal band in terms of like popularity or whatever. And why no, folks? I would have to say it's Cannibal Corpse as the most popular, followed by Death and maybe Morbid Angel and stuff. And why no, folks? In terms of like popularity or whatever, and why no, folks? Screw you. Okay, so what I'm looking at here in terms of album releases, there's a good amount of albums here and stuff. Like, why no, folks? Screw you. So, folks, in terms of what I'm looking at here, I think Cannibal Corpse has 16 studio albums or something. Like it's 15 or 16. Like I calculate 16, so why no, folks? Okay, so talking about this album I got here, The Bleeding. It's the fourth album, released 1994 and stuff. So why no, folks? And folks, this is Chris Barnes era Cannibal Corpse. So why no, folks? Screw you. Okay, so what I'm looking at here in terms of the band members, we obviously got Chris Barnes on the vocals. We got the guitar players are Rob Barrett and Jack Owen. We got the bassist and Alex Webster, and the drummer Paul. I still don't know how to pronounce this guy's last name, but Paul M. I'm gonna call him just to make it easy on myself. And folks, in terms of in terms of on the production team, we got the legendary producer and Scott Burns. So that's what's saying here on Wikipedia. I hate Wikipedia sometimes, but I'm lazy, so I'm using it and stuff. And what I'm looking at here in terms of the track list, there's 10 tracks on here, and a runtime of almost 37 minutes long, so it's not that long of an album in terms of like the length and stuff. So what no, folks? Okay, so now it's time for my thoughts on the album and what I thought of it. Okay, so first thing I noticed is that is the playing on this album. I noticed that in terms of the way, especially with the way the album sounded, like it seemed like just like dark and like brutal and stuff. Like it's, to me, it's more on the brutal side in terms of death metal. It's not like, I'm not saying this is brutal death metal, but like it's more on the brutal side of just your normal death metal and stuff. I guess that's what I'm trying to say and stuff. And why no, folks? And that's like they still got the traditional death metal playing with like fast tempos and and the chromatic playing and stuff or something in terms of like the guitars and like the blast beat drumming and stuff and no, folks. But also the groove parts. In my opinion, the groove parts are more dark than the fast playing and stuff. Not that they didn't have the not that it wasn't dark when they had fast playing. It's just to me the album sounded more dark in its groove parts. This is what I'm trying to say and stuff. And even with the way the album starts, like even the way the album starts on the first track, like I would say for like in that beginning, in the first song, you got like an evil sounding riff going on and like mid tempo groove part and no, folks. Like to me, it's evil sounding from the start and no, folks. So like they come straight out of the gate with an evil sounding groove part and then they eventually switch off to fast tempos and no, folks. And the way they were able to go in and out of the fast parts into the groove parts were good, I guess. Like no, folks. Like I didn't mind the fast tempos in this album. Like the way they transitioned from some of the transitions they had seemed kind of like I wouldn't say some of the transitions came out of nowhere, but it's like in some parts they had this traditional groove part and then and then they abruptly transitioned to a fast part and stuff in some areas. Like no, folks. This screw up. Okay, so in terms of Chris Barnes' vocals on this album, like he had the traditional death metal growling vocals or whatever, and but it wasn't like his vocals were deep on this album, but not like deep in the way that you can't understand what he's saying. I was able to notice I was able to understand some parts he was saying, like in terms of like me being able to decipher some of the lyrics and stuff. And no, folks. This screw up. So, folks, going on to moving on to some of these song names. They're brutal. Like some of these song titles are so brutal, in my opinion. It's not even funny. Like some of these lyrics, some of these song titles. The second song is effed with a knife. The song after that is stripped, raped, and strangled. Staring through the eyes of the dead is the first song. Like some of these song titles are kind of brutal. Like, no, folks. This screw up. Okay, so in terms of some of my favorite tracks on this album, I don't know. Like, for the most part, I enjoyed this album. Like, I thought it was fast, brutal. Basically, some of the stuff I said earlier is what I thought of it. In terms of like how I enjoyed it, I thought it was like, again, it was fast, brutal, had lots of dark elements, and I'd say some of my favorite tracks would have to be Staring Through the Eyes of the Dead and force fed Broken Glass. Like, I would have to say those would have to be some of my favorite tracks. But overall, I enjoyed this album from start to finish. And bueno, folks. Right now, this is basically what I'm going to be ending today's video off. Like, I'm not going any further with today's video. I'm simply not. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And peace out, everybody.